Hello, my name is Madam Eva Gikonyo, and I'll be taking you through English and literature. And today we are going to have our very first literature lesson. And in this case, we are going to look at a compulsory textbook, the novel Blossoms of the Savannah. Now, the first thing we should ask ourselves as students is, what is the relevance of the title Blossoms of the Savannah, or how relevant is the topic Blossoms of the Savannah? We all know the savanna environment is that it's semi-arid, and when you look at the cover of the book, we see that there are flowers blossoming up in the savanna. So the title simply means thriving in extremely harsh conditions. The author has created various characters who have succeeded in making their way out of harsh conditions. This includes Resian, Taiyo, and the Emakerere. And as you can see, the author has concentrated on the female characters mostly, because in the beginning of the book, we see the family of Olekaelo being moved from Nakuru, which is an urban area, to Nasila, which is a rural area. In Nasila, the girl child is discriminated. There's no place for a woman there. So when they go there, it is when they come into real terms. The book has been set from a Maasai background. Okay, and in this case, the girls have lived in Nakuru all their lives. So when they go to Nasila is when they come into terms and they come to know that, oh my God, there are cultures that they were kept from by their father all these years. One of these cultures that they have been kept from is female genital mutilation. Resian's dream was to join the Egerton University and become a veterinary doctor. But achieving this dream, it actually hit her that it was to be a tough journey. When she is introduced to Oloisudori Lonkia, we meet this man, a very powerful man, a very proud man, and he is described as a criminal. But that moment when Oloisudori knocks at Olekaelo's door and he sees Resian, he falls in love with her. And he uses this to blackmail her father, Olekaelo. Makiu, Oloisudori was the one who helped Olekaelo to build his business in Nasila and to build his home. He loaned him some money, but old Olesupeo, the friend to Olekaelo, actually told him, when he paid him a visit, he told him that Oloisudori was one of the most corrupt men in the society. He'll do you a favor, but then he will come back with ridiculous demands. And this certain day, Oloisudori knocks at Olekaelo's house, obviously to make these ridiculous demands. But who opens the door? Resian. And Resian has been described as a very beautiful girl. And immediately Oloisudori sets his eyes on her. Everything changes. The father returns home and he finds Resian a bit upset because Oloisudori had actually made some moves at her, and she was very uncomfortable. And then at the end of the discussion between Oloisudori and Olekaelo, he made his ridiculous demand. He wanted to marry Resian, and he had a friend who would be interested in Taiyo. Remember, the relationship between Olekaelo and his daughter Resian was not a good one, because ever since Resian was born, her father despised her for being born a girl. And now Oloisudori has come to make this ridiculous demand that he wanted, of marrying her. And Olekaelo decides that Resian was to be a sacrificial lamb. And after Resian comes to know of her father's intention, they have a very heated argument where even her father slaps her, and then she runs. She runs to seek peace at the Nasila River. Now we are going to look at the relevance of Nasila River later on. So it's when she was seated there beside Nasila River, and she was asking herself, why does my father hate me so much? Is it my fault, or was it my fault to be born a girl. And that was when Olarinkoi was this mysterious man whom her father had invited to come and spy. He was like a spy. The girls didn't know of whom he was, although Joseph Pamwat had actually explained to them who Olarinkoi was. Remember when he had told the girls of 2 Olarinkois? We're going to go back to that later on in the book. But here Olarinkoi finds Resian and he tells her, you know what? I have a solution to your problem. I know Oloisudori is looking for you, so don't lie to me that there's nothing wrong, but I can help you. I can help you get to the Emakerere. Emakerere was a woman who was known to rescue girls from female genital mutilation. She was hated in the community. She was actually even referred to as the wasp. We know the characteristic of a wasp, it stings, and that was a metaphorical title that was given to her. And so she was an enemy of the people in Nasila. But she was Resian's role model. She really wanted to meet this brave woman who has always rescued people from this malicious custom of circumcising girls. And this man is giving her a chance to meet him, and so she did not even think twice. She agreed to Olarinkoi's offer to take her to the Emakerere. They made an agreement that she would spend a night at one of Olarinkoi's relatives, and then the next day they were to begin the journey of going to the Emakerere. So that's exactly what they did. She spent the night, and the next day there was a pickup that came and parked just in front of the house. And this kind of woman gives Resian a leso after she notices that Resian was told to sit behind the truck, but she did not have anything to cover herself. So she goes back to the house and brings a leso and gives it to Resian. We are going to see how this leso became important to Resian later. And so now the journey began. The journey was full of fatigue. The place was dusty. We were told that even when the truck broke down, mosquitoes would bite through Resian's dress because the place was so harsh. She was tired, and Olarinkoi didn't mention anything. He didn't even say anything to Resian. She was kind of confused, but because of her determination to meet the Emakerere, she had to persevere. Now, night came and they arrived at a place which was dark, and it was like a strange place. And the truck stops, and Olarinkoi started offloading bags from the truck, and Resian was a bit confused. Is this the place of Emakerere? I don't think so. But I think Olarinkoi wants us to stop here so that tomorrow we shall continue with the journey. And so she got a bit comfortable. But as soon as Olarinkoi finishes offloading his stuff, the truck left. And so she was left alone with Olarinkoi, this strange man. And then she was told to enter in a hut. The hut was dark, it was dirty, it was disgusting. And then Olarinkoi puts the bag of maize there, and he tells her, woman, here is the food. You can cook if you feel hungry. If you don't feel like cooking, that is your problem. And Resian got a bit upset and wondered, is this the same man who had actually offered to give me help? And then he leaves. So we see that Resian, because of the fatigue and the long journey, she falls asleep, and she actually dreamt of meeting the Emakerere. But late that night, her dream was interrupted by a loud bang at the door. And then when she opened, here comes a drunk Olarinkoi, and he was there telling her things that she never expected this man who had told her that he would help her to say. Woman, you have always you have always pretended to be an educated woman. Now show me how educated your body is. And that was when he tried to force himself he would try to force himself on Resian, but Resian was a fighter. She beat his thumb so badly she almost amputated it, and Olarinkoi screamed with so much pain, and that was when he hit her and then she fainted. And then we see her waking up the next day, but she was so weak. She did not know what had happened. She woke up the next day, she was in a strange room, she was asleep, and she was naked. She did not know what had happened, but she could see a figure walking around, a kind woman who was talking to her and smiling at her. So as soon as she recovered, there was this woman telling her that, you know, she was taking care of her, and she introduced herself to Resian as the Nabaru. And that was when we see the Nabaru was a woman who had been employed by the mother to Olarinkoi to help nurse Resian so that Olarinkoi would take her for a wife. And so we see now another case of forced marriage. You know, she has jumped from one trouble to another. You know, she was being forced to get married to Oloisudori, and here comes Olarinkoi, who has the same intention. What was she going to do? She decided to seek refuge from the Nabaru. Nabaru was very kind to her, and she actually even offered to help her. And she told her, I will help you get to the Emakerere. You know, ever since I met you, you are a fighter. You fight, so you fight. You fight like a hero, and I have come to love you as my own daughter. Okay, and that was when Nabaru kind of disappeared, and Resian thought that the Nabaru had betrayed her all over again, and she was angry. So this night, she is asleep and she had another dream. Remember, a dream is a stylistic device in literature, so you have to see the significance of these dreams. What do they imply? All right, so we have she fell asleep again, and she dreamt of her night of circumcision. There was the female circumciser and some other women who wanted to circumcise her. And in her dream, she saw herself fighting these women. She had decided that these women were not going to circumcise any other girl. And here, there was, in her dream, there was also the Nabaru, the traitor, the woman who had told her that she would help her but now had disappeared. But all of a sudden, she had a bang again at the door. Resian, wake up, we have to go. They are coming for you. And when she was trying to open her eyes, she was actually weak because she had not covered herself, and mosquitoes had bitten her, and she had actually had a fever, so she was weak. So she was trying to crawl and open the door. It was the Nabaru calling out, Resian, wake up, they are coming for you. And Kamuratani, who was a female circumciser, the mother to Olarinkoi, and Olarinkoi were coming for her. They wanted to circumcise her and force her to marry Olarinkoi. So she could hear her calling, but she was too weak, so she struggled. She went and opened the door, and immediately she opened the door, she fainted. Now we see a woman here, the Nabaru, who was an old woman and a nurse, who scooped Resian like a little child, and then she made a concoction of some powder and water, gave it to Resian, and she was able to regain her conscience. And then when she woke up, she had to run. So they started running, and Olarinkoi was running behind them and asking the Nabaru, woman, where do you think you're taking my wife? But they could not stop. They kept on running in the dark. They kept on running. And for the very first time, it rained. And when it rains, it shows that it's the end of a drought season. And here they are running, and Olarinkoi is running after them. And then they get to a place where there was a parked lorry. And then they enter the lorry and they lock the doors. And Olarinkoi went round the lorry, telling the Nabaru, where do you think you're taking my wife? Yeah? Bring her back. And Nabaru tells him that you have been taking advantage of Resian. You are waiting for Oloisudori to let go of her so that you would snatch her and use her to your advantage. And Resian could not hold back what she wanted to tell her. She also gave him a piece of his cake. And afterwards, the lorry drove away, and Olarinkoi was there. And he actually even threatened the Nabaru never to come back to that place because he would kill her. And so they drove off. And then we see the journey to the Emakerere. The lorry breaks down, and then there were motorbike people who came there, and they started having a conversation with a woman. And then the woman was there looking around, and she noticed a familiar place, and she approached this familiar face who was Resian, and she asked her, "Are you Resian Kaelo?" And Resian's eyes brightened up. She looked up and she saw this beautiful woman. "Yes, I am." "Okay, you actually look the same, only that your hair has been shaven." Remember that Nabaru had told Resian to shave her hair because it was too tangled. She could not maintain it, so she had told her to shave it. And so now this woman notices Resian. She tells her that she looks the same, only that her hair had been shaven because her face was all over the newspaper. Oloisudori had put a prize on her. Anyone who would find Resian would get a huge amount of money. But this woman, whom we came to know that she was the Emakerere, could not let this happen. She took in Resian and she told her, "You are going to meet me later in my ranch." And Resian was so happy. And when she went there, she was taken round the place, the ranch, and she was also given a job and a house. And she also got a chance to accommodate the Nabaru because she told the Emakerere that Olarinkoi had threatened the Nabaru's life. So after she had started adopting the life at the Emakerere's place, one day she was called in by Minik and Nkotoi, and she told her that she had actually rescued a girl and she was in her house. She came to tell Resian that the rescued girl who had been saved from female genital mutilation was her sister Tayo. And we see the reunion between the two girls, Resian and Tayo. She ran towards where Tayo had been kept in her room. She was weak. She had already been circumcised. Let us go back to how Tayo had been circumcised. Remember, the two sisters had been kept apart for a very long time. Resian did not know the whereabouts of Tayo, and neither did Tayo know the whereabouts of Resian. And their reunion was a bittersweet one because Tayo had been forcefully circumcised. Let's go back to where she had been circumcised. Her mother, Mama Milanoi, had called Tayo to come and greet 3 women who were from a village known as Esoit. And these 3 women had said that they knew the whereabouts of Resian. She had refused to eat, and she had said that she would only eat until the only time she would eat was until she would see her sister Tayo. And so when these women convinced Tayo to go see her sister Resian, she did not even think twice. She decided to take the journey all the way to Esoit to go reunite with her sister and to save her. And when she got there, she was told to enter into a hut which was dark and it was smoky. But then she could not see her sister Resian. She wondered, why did these 3 women tell me that Resian was here but I cannot see her? So she decided to be patient. After some time, she heard people screaming outside there, singing songs. And all of a sudden, there were women crowding in at the door. They were trying to force themselves inside the room. And she realized that, oh my God, I have been set up. This was a setup. These women actually want to circumcise me. And the women grabbed Tayo. She screamed and screamed and screamed. Then, immediately, almost 20 liters of very cold water were poured on her. And when she was trying to struggle her way out, she saw the face of the Enkamuratani, the female circumciser. She screamed. and screamed and screamed and screamed, but no help came, and she fainted. When she woke up the next day, she was no longer among the Ntoyene Mengelana. So it was Oloisudori who had ordered her circumcision. Because Resian had escaped and he had already paid the bride price, he had decided to take her other sister. And now let's come to her rescue. Word came to the Emakerere that a girl had been found in a certain village and she had been circumcised, but she was heavily guarded. And that was when Emakerere sent her men. And there was this man who had actually given the message to the Emakerere. And this was Joseph Pamuat. He loved Taiyo. But these archaic cultures of you would not marry someone from the same clan had kept them apart. But in this case, Joseph Pamuat, who was a feminist, he had decided to help the girls fight against female circumcision, had gone to the Emakerere and told her that there was this girl who needed help. And so when the Emakerere sent her men, they found this guarded place. Oloisudori had done everything to ensure that Taiyo would not escape from this grip. And this man decided to lie that there was a beer party somewhere and that they would go and celebrate and maybe come back and nothing would happen to the girl. And that was when they fell into his trick and they went. These guards fell into Joseph Pamuat's trap. They went to attend this beer party, and that was when Emakerere's men struck. They rescued Taiyo, and by the time they came back, they realized that a trick had been played on them, and that was when they speared Joseph Pamuat to death. And later on, now that's when the girls, after she's brought to the Emakerere's place, is when now we see the reunion. Taiyo recovers and she adapts to her new status. And another time now they are called, later on they are called by the Emakerere. This time she had 2 envelopes, and she told them that the envelopes contained the letters of admission to the Egerton University, and they were to join the Egerton University, and that was when now their dream came true. We see Emakerere also blossoming up in harsh conditions. You know, people were against her, like wanted her gone from Nasila, but she had struggled her way to help 500 girls together with Taiyo and Resian escape this malicious tradition of female circumcision. We see a woman who had succeeded to help and to, you know, give life to these girls who had lost hope. And we see during their farewell party to join the Egerton University, the 500 girls had composed a song for Resian and Taiyo to bid them farewell. Oh, we are blossoms of the savannah. We are going to learn. We are going to be doctors of the future. We are going to be teachers. And while these girls were singing the farewell song for Resian and Taiyo, now was when a motorcade came, and that was when we see Oloisudori coming and telling the Emakerere, I want my wife back. You have to give me one of the 2 girls. I mean, I had paid the bride price. So why do you think you have a right to take them away from me? You are a woman who has never been married, and that is why you want to keep these girls away from having the kind of life that they should have. But Emakerere told him that he was not going to take any of the girls. And that was when Oloisudori decided to order his men to attack Emakerere's men. He had undermined the strength of men who had eaten ugali. And that was when these Emakerere's men, attacked Oloisudori's men. They burnt down all his cars and they escaped. And we see the girls joining the Egerton University. Now, that was just a summary to show the relevance of the book. We have seen all these women have struggled their way through these harsh conditions, through these harsh, cultural practices of FGM. early marriage. They have fought there, especially Resiani. As you read through the book, you are going to know that she has actually gone through so many challenges to get to achieve her goals. So in our next lesson, I would like us to look at the themes. Now, we should ask ourselves what a theme is. Let me just introduce what a theme is, so that I will give you some themes that you are going to look at, so that the next time you are going to the learning will be much easier, because you'll have done the research. So you have a theme. These are issues that are consistent in a creative work. So we have seen various themes. The fact that Resian wanted to join the Egerton University, that is the Egerton University, that is a theme of education. There are so many themes that have been highlighted in Blossoms of the Savannah. Now, for your assignments, I will give you a topic on themes. I'm going to give you themes that you're going to do research on. The first one is culture. In this case, you're going to look at the positive and the negative culture, that the cultures that were being practiced in Nasila. Well, there are still positive ones, so it is good that you also look at both sides. There is also the theme of alienation. Ask yourself what alienation is, and also give evidence. Remember, for you to give an answer in literature and to get all the marks, you have to give evidence. You have to show the examiner that I have said this because of this. You have to show where in the book do you find evidence for your answer. So anywhere in literature, whether it's in poetry, whether it's in oral literature, please make sure that you have illustrated your answer. You are also going to look at feminism. Feminism is also a major theme. Ask yourself what feminism is, and also look at those instances where feminism has been highlighted in the book. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And for the next lesson, we are going to have English. So please make sure that you have your English book with you. Thank you so much, and God bless you.